Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Kishi. I'm back again with another video. In today's video, I am going to be letting you know how to apply to universities in Canada. Before I start today's video, I just want to let y'all in, put y'all on, you know the vibes. Well, as you can see my head, babies, look at Original Queen Beauty put me on, and I'm gonna put y'all on. Go to my description box and pick one up. This is 20 inches, kinky curly, 180 density. Baby, volume, curls, beauty, like the whole package, and it's affordable. I know school just started and y'all looking bum in class, but sis, I'm gonna take you from bum to bomb. Go pick up one. It's a headband wig, it's cute. 5 minutes application. If you have time to wear a shirt, you have time to put this on, okay? And your teacher is making you turn on your camera in class, no problem, because you're gonna go in looking cute. You can pack it up to the gym, you can let it down for a date, you can pack it to the side for a Zoom call, you can half up, half down it, like whatever you're feeling, this week got you. Before I get into this video, make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you think about this video, and make sure you turn on your post notifications so you know every time I post a video for you. And yeah, let's get on into the video. The intro was pretty long, but y'all know it was worth it. When you purchase this wig, you know that the intro was worth it, okay? The first thing you need to do before you even start applying, it's not just to apply. There's some things I would advise you to do before you start applying to schools. The first thing I would advise you to do is to pick a coast you want to be on. As far as I'm concerned, this country is a continent. Each coast is 7 hours apart, so you need to know what parts of the country you want to be on. The next thing to do is to actually pick a province, because the coast, so there's different provinces in each coast, so depending on what you want, if you want more of a flat land, Saskatchewan, if you want a really cold winter, Manitoba or Nova Scotia, or like just decide what province you want to go to first, because I wouldn't really recommend like applying to. You could apply to every single province and then after pick one school from each province, but I would advise you to pick the province before you start applying to schools to know which province you wouldn't even bother or want to go to in the first place. Okay? There's nothing good or bad about any province. It's just like, what do you prefer, and then pick a school in that province. The next thing I would advise you to do is to research your school, whether it is a university or a college. So that means that are you going to be going to a university, and a university is they teach you the same thing in both, but then universities have more recognition for their names, so you would hardly know the name of a college. Colleges sometimes have just 2 years and then you have to transfer to university, so you have to know all those things before you apply to either college or universities. Colleges are a lot cheaper than universities. I don't know, but from what I've seen, a lot of colleges don't have residences, so you need to have a family member that already stays in that province before you apply to the college if you want to go to a college. But it really depends on what you want to do at university or college, so make sure you research that before you apply, because there's no point of applying if you find out that the school doesn't have residence and you're like, where do you stay now? Do you understand? Another thing to do after you have decided if you want to go to a college or a university, a part of your research needs to be to check if the university actually has your program, because a lot of universities don't have all programs. So you need to make sure that the university you want to go to has a program you want to study. Then you need to eliminate it based on fees, because education, especially for universities or international students, is unnecessarily expensive. You can go all the way up to $70,000, And I don't think it's a point of applying to school that you're going to have to pay $7,000 if you can afford it. Like, I think that there's really no point unless you want to apply for a lot of scholarships. Yeah, so I generally wouldn't advise, like, just eliminate based on fees. Like, if you know that this is not gonna work, don't bother, don't give yourself a headache. Next thing to do is to check for deadlines. Before you even start applying, you need to check for deadlines, and deadlines are very, very important because the schools don't care who your mommy or daddy is. Like, once the deadline passes, it's gone, and there's really nothing you can do about it unless, like, you send them a long ass email telling them, explain to them why you missed the deadline. But then what does that really say about you if you're missing deadlines? So make sure you don't miss the deadlines, including early admissions deadlines. So right now, early admissions are going on. So if you know for sure that you're going to get into the school, your grades are top notch, your activities are there intact, then just apply early, and then they give you early admission, and you can start your whole visa process early. But then if you know that your grades are not, I'd advise you to wait till like normal admissions, and then you can apply then. Early admissions ends, I think, in about November, like probably around the end of this month it'd be over. So if you want to apply for early admission, chop hurry up real quick. The next thing you need to do before you apply to school, like before you apply to the school, is to check for the requirements. Go look for their brochures or on their websites. They have it written there that if you're in grade 11 and grade 12, the classes you're going to need to take to get into the particular program you want to get into. So for example, me, I made sure to check all my requirements, and then I made sure I did all those courses in both grade 11 and grade 12. Those two classes are very important because you have requirements to meet for grade 11 and grade 12. So make sure you meet all those requirements before you apply, because there's no point of applying if you don't have a requirement. So in my case, I didn't know that. So I applied to a school called SFU Simon Fraser, and I did not know that I needed a grade 11 language course. And by the time I applied and they already took my money, like I realized, oh, I didn't do French in grade 11, so they just canceled my application. I couldn't go any further in the process. So make sure you have every requirement you need before you apply, especially if you want to go to the school. You need the requirements, both the subject and then the grades. You need to make sure that you reach at least the minimum. The grades they put there are the minimum. So if you don't even reach that grade, they're not going to accept you. So you need to make sure that you have a good grade difference between the minimum and what you want to use to enter the program. So you need to meet the subject requirements and the grade requirement. Do not assume the requirements because every school is different. So for example, I needed to have done calculus to get into U of T, but I didn't need calculus to get into UBC. So every school varies on what they would want for a program. Even if it's the same program, it could be different requirements. So make sure you check before you even like paid. And I'll be saying this paid thing a lot. You need to also know that for every school you're going to apply to, you're going to need to pay a fee. It ranges from about $75 to like 150 Canadian. So you need to have that in store. I know that I applied to about 8 schools and my total was about like 1,000 or so. It was pretty expensive because I think the bigger your school is, the same way with fees, like the more expensive the application form is, you have to pay to apply, which is Now on to the applying process. The first thing you need to do is go to the school's website. So this is for people that are applying to schools not in Ontario. You just go to the website, check how to apply, follow the instructions, and just fill out the forms, and then you'll be good. Fill out the forms and everything that they ask you to fill out, just fill that out. But then, if you want to apply to schools in Ontario, there's a website called UAC that you have to register for to help you apply to all the schools in Ontario, whether it's a college or university. The list of every school is written there, so you have to apply there and you pay from there, and then they send. So rather than having to fill in every form, which is the same thing all over and over again, OUAC just put in one piece of information and then it sends it to all those schools at once, which is more convenient. I know, but I don't like the interface. It was really ugly. But you need UAC to apply to schools in Ontario, and other schools can just apply directly from their websites. Once you apply, I know it's very stress relieving that, okay, I've applied now, I can rest. Not necessarily. In some cases, schools will ask you to still submit certain forms, whether it's your, health card, your PR card, your WIAC results, whatever the school needs you to submit, you need to submit that. That's your responsibility to submit it, because if you don't, they will cancel your application and they will take your money and it's gone. You need to make sure that you read everything that they ask you to write an essay or write 2 essays, referrals, anything they ask you to submit. You have to submit it before the deadline. By deadlines are very important, so you don't miss it, because they will cancel your application and then your money is gone. I would also advise that you apply to at least 3 schools, because I know you think that one school is going to accept you, which is a possibility. You can do it, but I would not recommend that in the long run. It's for like, there's anything can happen, like you might not be accepted and you're stranded. So make sure you apply to at least 3 schools. The more the merrier, but the more expensive. Okay, so you have applied, you have submitted every required document, you have written all your essays. It's phenomenal. You have secured the admission and you know that. And now, what do you want to do? You want to play. Oh my gosh, like joke. They could still they could give you an admission. So I know that I got a couple of admissions while I was still in school, but then most of them were conditional offers. So that means that if you slack, if your grades change, if you fail at the end of the term, they will revoke your admission. You will not be allowed to get into the school. So after you apply does not mean that you're going to start playing. You need to still make sure you keep up your grades and you actually like work to get the actual admission, because the difference in conditional admission means there's something you have to meet before you can get in. Then admission is like, okay, like you are in now. So once you have worked hard and everything has been done and said, it's time to sit down and pray, because you're not going to email them like, okay, what happened? Like, there's so many people have applied to your school, and it's just like a matter of like grace of like, okay, like, does God want you to go there or not? Like, it's a hit or miss. Like, they decide if they want you or not. But there's a higher chance you will get in depending on your grades and what the requirements and if you have met them. Then make sure that once you get your admission, for international students, start applying for your visa immediately, because I don't know about other countries, but I know in Nigeria it can take a long time waiting for your visa. So I would strongly advise that the second you get your admission, immediately apply for your visa, because you don't want to take any risks. And that is my advice on applying to schools. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you think about this video. Thank you so much for watching, and staying tuned if you got to the end of this video. I do hope I was able to help somebody who is feeling really overwhelmed by this whole process. I know it can be difficult, especially waiting for the admission, even applying, writing the essays. It can be very frustrating. But just remember that at least in Canada, you don't have to write an essay for every single school. I know in the US you have to write essays for most schools, which is not the case in Canada. You just have to. I wrote an essay for just 3 schools, for UBC, U of T, and Queens. I really think you'll be fine. It can be overwhelming, but don't let it overwhelm you. So don't let school finish you. You finish school. Alright, and thank you so much for watching, and bye.